Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. So, we're going to continue on in our standings predictions today with the Metropolitan Division. If you didn't see the Atlantic one, it's already up on the channel. It was uploaded yesterday. Go check it out. Regardless, the Metropolitan Division, let's just get straight into it here. So, we'll start off with number 8. And number 8 for the second straight year is the Philadelphia Flyers in my predictions. Last year I had them 8th and they finished 7th. The only reason why they finished 7th was because Columbus had an awful season. And we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, Philadelphia, I like them being last more than I did last year. I like the management. I like the direction they're going. We need to get this narrative out of there that Cutter Gauthier and Michkov aren't going to come over and play for us and start thinking about the fact of how, we have all these other prospects. We're going to be in a good spot. So this year is going to be painful. Another really painful year in Philadelphia. We're not going to make the playoffs for a very long time. And it just is what it is. But, yeah, they're going to be 8th. There's really not much to it. I'm just going to leave it at that. Number 7, you have the Columbus Blue Jackets, who people were high on. And I was one of those people that was high on them. I thought with the acquisition of Johnny Gaudreau, they were going to be at least better. I had them 5th. As a result, they finished 8th. It was a brutal year. Injuries all around. They just could never find a footing. Everything that could have gone wrong basically went wrong. It was absolutely terrible. It was a horrible season. However, they paid off for it. They got Adam Fantilli 3rd overall. And I think that's definitely a great selection to have, and he's going to help out that team so much. However, I just don't see him being there yet. But I think in a few more years, they'll be back to being a legitimate contending team. They already have a young roster. Just a few more years, and they'll be back. Just 100%. Just trust the process if you're Columbus. And obviously, you got to fix up some of the problems there, too. They did make moves in getting guys into defense, like Ivan Provorov, Damon Severson. So that will be better. But I still don't see them as a playoff team. I don't. I don't see them as one yet. I just can't see it, if I'm being honest. Number 6, I have the Washington Capitals. And last year I had the Capitals 6th, and they finished 6th, so I got that one correct. But I see them finishing 6th again. I think it is very possible they move above other teams in the standings and get up to 5th, but I can't see them going any higher than 5th. Realistically, their ceiling is 6. So, look, I don't hate the roster, but it's just a declining team, it feels like at this point. Guys like Matt Sandin, they're going to have good years, but I just can't see them finishing above some of the other teams in the league. You can argue number 5. You can absolutely argue number 5, and it's very possible they do because they did face some injuries. So they could find themselves fighting for another wild card spot again. But at this point in time, I only see them at 6, realistically. Number 5, I have the New York Islanders. I had the Islanders 4th last year, and they finished 4th, so I got that one correct. And the Islanders, obviously, they're a team that is mid. That's the narrative with them. And I try my best to not go by that narrative, but they are a team that has a meh forward core, a solid defense, and great goaltending. They don't have much else. It just isn't there right now for New York. They've doubled down on their roster, and I just don't see them being any more than a first-round exit. I can't see it. And I hate to say it because I've had very controversial opinions about the Islanders for years, and people have hated on me for it, but I just can't see them being any more than that. And that's why I think they're going to barely miss out of the playoffs on that 5th wild card spot. Number 4, I have Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is the biggest one. The biggest question surrounds Pittsburgh. Is this their last year of legitimate contendency, if that's a word? But I realistically think this year and maybe next year are their last 2 years at contending. They acquired their star-studded defender in Erik Karlsson, and that is the narrative right now, that Erik Karlsson's going to help them out with their blue line. Do I think they're better? Yes, I do think they're better, but look at what their problem was. Did you need a 100-point scorer on your blue line? No. Even if Karlsson puts that up for you, it's not going to help you very much. It really isn't. And he's gonna have a big regression. And I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but he'll definitely have a regression. I feel like he will be better defensively behind Pittsburgh and with that team. But just overall, like, I don't see them any more than first round exits. I hate to say it too because I know I am a Flyers fan, but I do enjoy watching the Penguins play, and I do like the move of Carlson. But I just can't see it, and I'm sorry. I just can't see them being any more than a first round exit as a wild card team, especially if they're playing a team like, let's say, Toronto in the first round or the Devils. Like, I just can't see it, if I'm being honest. But obviously, we will find out there, if I'm right or wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. Number three, then moving into the top three, so all these teams make the playoffs. I have the New York Rangers. Last year I had them finishing second. They finished third. I think third's a realistic time point for them. They got some good moves, acquiring Blake Wheeler as a good middle six type forward. You got Jonathan Quick there as a solid backup goalie. I don't want to say they're basically the same roster, but they kind of are, which isn't a bad thing either. You are still going to be a good team this coming year. They got Sturk and all that stuff, but no more than a third place New York Rangers team there. I just can't see any more than that. Number two, I have the Carolina Hurricanes. Last year I had them finishing first, and this year they finished first, so that's great. But Carolina, obviously, they're a team that I've said before, they don't need a star-studded player to be a good team. With good coaching from Rod Brindamore, they run a perfect system, and that's why they made the conference finals a lot in the past couple of years. And I know people make the argument about how, oh, they got swept in the conference finals, oh, they're crap. That was a really competitive sweep. All the games were decided by like one goal. So it was a very close series, and I think that if they have Svechnikov, they can go all the way. I really think they can. They have a great roster, top to bottom. They have an amazing defense, and players want to go there, and that's the biggest thing. Players do want to go there and play in Carolina, so you got to keep that in mind. Number one, though, I have the Devils, and this was the biggest thing last year because they had this massive breakout season that nobody expected. I'm wearing them right now. Last year I had them seventh, and I'm not the only one that did, by the way. And they finished second, and it was a massive year that we didn't see coming. Everyone had breakout years. Jesper Bratt played well. Dawson Mercer played well. Jack Hughes played well. They beat the Rangers. And are they a cup team? I would argue, yeah. They re-signed Timo Meier. They got Tyler Toffoli. They have an elite forward core, a great defense. Goaltending's the only sort of question, but it's not even really a question at the same time. They have goalies that are going to help them out. But regardless, I think they will be second, or they will be first in the Metropolitan Division, by not a long shot, but definitely by a close margin. Because Carolina, I feel like, is gonna try and get that first slot. But obviously, I think the Devils are going to win the division this year, and it's going to be an amazing year for Devils fans, and we'll see how they do in the playoffs. But yeah, that is my 23-24 predictions for the Metropolitan Division. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Hit that subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. I believe tomorrow is the Central Division, if I'm correct, so I would like you all to stay tuned for that. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.